Honestly, good to have you with it. I am Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks so much for being here this morning. We're going to begin this hour with the bitter cold weather impacting more than 100 million people in the U.S. The latest winter storm that's now barreling across several southern states, the Carolinas and Virginia. They could see the heaviest snow later today, with more than 10 inches predicted in some areas. Officials along the Gulf Coast warn of a mix of rain and ice that could make for dangerous driving conditions.
Forecasters predict we could see more than 100 new record low temperatures by Friday across the plains and Midwest. One town in North Dakota dropped to negative 45 degrees yesterday, the coldest on record so far this week. This bitter cold is posing an even bigger threat in states like Kentucky and Tennessee, which were recently ravaged by deadly flooding. Officials worry this massive chill could force them to pause water rescues. NBC's Kathy Park is on the ground in Knoxville, Tennessee, with the latest.
Hey guys, good morning from a snowy downtown Knoxville. The snow is starting to fall, and when this is all said and done, we could be looking at up to 3 inches of snow. But it's not just the snow, but millions of people are waking up to dangerously cold temperatures. In fact, the coldest air we've seen all season. And yesterday, winter alerts actually stretched a continuous 1,500 miles from Colorado to the Carolinas. Yesterday in Minnesota, it got so cold, firefighting equipment actually froze over, hampering their emergency response. There were also plenty of reports of crashes, spinouts on major highways across the country. Meanwhile, in Kentucky, as you know, they are reeling from those devastating floods. The governor there is saying that they're not only dealing with a natural disaster, but now a snowstorm on top of that. So that will definitely impede the ongoing recovery efforts. The good news is this is a fast mover. It will be out of the Knoxville, eastern Tennessee area later on this afternoon. However, the cold will be sticking around, and it's an important reminder when wind chills get well below zero, frostbite can set in a matter of minutes. Back to you.
All right, Kathy, we appreciate you being out there.
Well, for more on this winter weather that's hitting tens of millions with either snow or that deep freeze, let's bring in meteorologist Angie Lastman.
Yeah, she's got your morning news now. Weather, Angie, good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning to you. As Kathy just mentioned, this is a fast mover, but still, it's going to be impactful through the day today. And we've got plenty of winter alerts up. No surprise there. 39 million people from parts of the Tennessee Valley extending out east to the Carolinas. This is the general area that's going to deal with that wintry weather, the heavy snow, the potential for some ice accumulation on those roadways. And then farther south on the warmer side of this system, we've got all that heavy rain draped across the Gulf Coast, places like Tallahassee waking up to some wet weather this morning. This is going to be quick to move to the east and eventually offshore. We've got to get through today before we start to see those impacts winding down. But even still, over the next 12 to even 18 hours, we're going to see the heavy snow specifically across parts of southeastern Virginia and North Carolina, as well as those lingering kind of showers across parts of the southeast. As we get into tomorrow, some improvements for some spots, specifically parts of the south. But notice what happens across the Northeast and the Great Lakes. We've got this really cold wind that's going to generate more of that lake effect snow. So we are not dodging the snow showers across that region as we get into tomorrow. But the really impressive snowfall totals, those are going to be centered across parts of Virginia and North Carolina. Notice Norfolk expected over 8 inches. Virginia Beach, you could see anywhere from 6 to 10 inches by the time we wrap up the day today and head into tonight. As far as the ice accumulation, this is what we're concerned about when it comes to the roadways, specifically road travel for I-40, I-95. You can see Kinston all dealing with the potential for up to 1/4 of an inch of ice. That means that we could likely see not just the difficulty on the roads, but tree damage and power outages across this region through the day today. But again, improvements on the backside of that system as we get into tomorrow. What doesn't improve is the temperatures. We are going to see that really cold air kind of settle in and stay with us for a little while longer. And it's quite impressive where you see these cold alerts. I mean, really, from top to bottom of the country, we are dealing with cold weather that has prompted us to see these alerts stay in place through today. Almost 90 million people included in those. And we see why. Temperatures in Minneapolis right now, the actual temperature -9, but look what it feels like, -25. Even Chicago, this is a little better than what you dealt with yesterday, but still 5 degrees for the actual temperature, feeling like 8 below. As far south as Abilene, 11 degrees for your temperature right now and feeling like -7. So how about later today? Do we see any improvements? Not really, honestly. It just depends on where you live. If you live in Lubbock, sure, you get to 27 degrees. I guess that's an improvement. 8 degrees for Topeka's high temperature today. Chicago, you'll top out at 17. We see parts of the northern plains just single digits through the afternoon hours today. Tomorrow, not quite as cold in some spots, but it's not much of an improvement. movement. We're still running more than 30 degrees below normal across parts of the Central Plains. 13 degrees is all you're going to get for Kansas City. 30s for Atlanta. Orlando tops out at just 66 degrees. I don't know. That 66 sounds pretty good to me right about now. Teens, guys, as we wrap up our week and head into the weekend for Omaha, we see 30s in Chicago. And honestly, if you're in Chicago, the temperatures today compared to what they'll be in on Sunday, they look a whole lot better. Even Springfield, you get back to the 50s. That goes for Huntsville as well. We just got to wait a little while and potentially break some record lows between now and then.
My dad in Minnesota called me last night after chiseling his phone out of the ice cube that it was wrapped in to tell me to confirm it is freezing.
It is freezing. And even here in New York City, it was brutal yesterday. And
oh, my gosh.
We'll keep it going.
All right. This morning. Ugh, it's hard to get up. Thanks, Angie.
The Trump administration's bid to reshape the government got a small boost on Tuesday. A federal judge denied an effort by 14 states to immediately block Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency from accessing data systems or making personnel decisions at 7 federal agencies.
The judge wrote that the states failed to show they would be imminently harmed by Musk and Doge's actions. However, she did express some concerns about Doge's power and authority.
For more on this, we're joined now by NBC News White House correspondent Vaughn Hilliard. Vaughn, good morning. Good to have you with us. So help us understand the judge's decision. Where does it leave Democrats who are trying to curtail the Trump administration's push to try and reshape the federal government?
Right. Hey, good morning, guys. Look, this case is not over in its entirety. This is just a decision from federal Judge Chutkan to not issue an immediate restraining order on Doge, Elon Musk, and their activities and their access to personnel data within these multiple federal agencies. At the same time, this was a major lawsuit that was brought by 14 state attorneys generals. And Judge Chutkan, said that merely the possibility that Doge could harm the states, quote, is not enough to halt its activities. Again, this gets to where this case is not over. They can continue to make their case here going forward. This is just not an immediate injunction here. At the same time, this really calls into a lot of questions, as Judge Chutkan acknowledged, that there's a lot of suspicion and a lack of transparency exactly as to what Elon Musk and the Doge team are doing within the agencies. But as she noted, that it'll take proving the harm that is actually being done in real time for the courts to further intervene.
Vaughn, yesterday, President Trump described his relationship with Elon Musk during this interview on Fox News. Let's listen first to a little bit of that.
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect, because, I mean, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. He gets it done. He's a leader. Yeah. He really is. He gets it done.
And I want to seize on that word leader. Mr. Trump, of course, calling him that, but the Justice Department did say something quite different in fighting a lawsuit that seems to rein in Doge's power, right? Tell us about that.
Right. And actually, if I could real fast, President Trump said that he's always respected Elon Musk. And I just think for fact-checking purposes, back just in 2022, 3 years ago, he was mocking Elon Musk, saying that if it weren't for government subsidies of his various companies and projects, Elon Musk, would be, quote, worthless. But, of course, the relationship has come a long way since then. But yet, you noted here in the court filings, interestingly, the Department of Justice, President Trump's Department of Justice, is not calling Elon Musk the, quote, administrator of Doge, which was the position that was crafted under the executive order that Donald Trump signed on Inauguration Day. And this gets to a lot of the legal wonkiness here, because Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary to President Trump, says that he is just a senior advisor. And this is, in a way, almost to avoid any legal ramifications, because including in that lawsuit from those 14 state attorneys general who said that Elon Musk, as a special government employee, is working outside of the bounds of the Constitution, having not been Senate confirmed in working in such a capacity as this. It goes beyond the limits of what a federal government worker is able to do. That's why it's so noteworthy that the DOJ is almost sort of, in a way, limiting his prominence at the same time that the president himself is sitting there in a Fox News interview at the White House promoting Elon Musk as a, quote, leader.
Vaughn, let's get to another huge headline. Yesterday, we witnessed that meeting between high-level U.S. and Russian officials in Saudi Arabia. The talks were aimed at trying to bring an end to the Ukraine war, but Kyiv was not involved, which has angered Ukraine and the rest of Europe. Tell us what came out of this meeting and just the stunning comments President Trump made afterward.
Right. This is a moment here for President Trump. He spoke yesterday after that meeting that you saw took place between Russian officials, included the Saudis, but Marco Rubio, his national security, Mike Waltz. This is a moment where President Trump is clearly indicating that they are keen on negotiating directly with the Russians, even if Ukraine is not at the negotiating table themselves, which President Zelensky has aired a great deal of skepticism and concern about. Take a listen to President Trump yesterday afternoon talking about Ukraine and their positioning in these negotiations.
I think I have the power to end this war, and I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
Now, of course, objectively, it was not Ukraine that started the war. Russia is the one that invaded 3 years ago Ukraine with missiles and has been on the offensive in an effort to take over Ukraine. And back in 2014, Russia invaded Crimea, killing thousands in their acquisition of Ukraine land. And yet what you heard there from the president of the United States is the suggestion that President Zelensky is losing popularity in this country, that the cities are effectively demolished, essentially is making the case for Ukraine to come to the negotiating table with Russia, and whether it be cede land or make other concessions here. President Trump is not clearly the most sympathetic to Ukraine's situation, and it's even proposed that they give the United States half of their earth minerals in exchange for U.S. further financial support here. So there's a lot on the lines, but clearly Ukraine's partnership with the Trump administration is very different than the one that they had in the Biden administration, guys.
All right, Vaughn, thank you so much.
Well, let's keep this conversation going on the Russia-Ukraine war with Kira Rudik. She's a member of the Ukrainian parliament. Kira, thanks very much for joining us again. Good to see you. So let's start with the clip that we played a moment ago from President Trump that Vaughn was just discussing there. What did you make of his suggestion that Ukraine was responsible for starting the war, that Kyiv had 3 years to make a deal to end this war?
Hello, and thank you so much for having me. Well, as Ukrainian member of parliament and Ukrainian, I can just say that these statements are false. Of course, Ukraine fell a victim of aggression that started by Russian Federation. And during these 3 years, we had paid an enormous and ultimate price for the democratic world to be prepared, to get ready. And it is simply unfair to people who lost everything, to people whose relatives are fighting at the front line, and to people who are fighting at the front line, to diminish their sacrifices and the constant fight for the freedom, for the freedom of Ukraine and for the freedom of the free world.
As you know, when we talk about these negotiations, President Zelensky wasn't at the table yesterday. Europe wasn't at the table. Your thoughts on this meeting and this apparent thawing of relations between the U.S. and Russia? I mean, can there be a deal if Ukraine's not part of the talks?
First, I thought that it was U.S. policy not to negotiate with terrorists. Right now, all the terrorists throughout the world see that they can go ahead, annex a territory of another country, commit all kinds of the war crimes, and then just hope to get away with that because they will be listened to and they would be taken into consideration and their opinion would matter. That is unfortunate, and it will not lead to any good result, neither for the United States nor for the democratic world itself. The main question that we are asking and that we did not hear an answer to is, what are the security guarantees? Who or what in the whole world can make sure that Russia will keep their part of the bargain if there is a deal. And that is a baseline to any negotiations. Because you see here in Ukraine, we have been in this ceasefire since 2014, and there was not a single day when Russia would honor their part of the deal. So how this time will be different? And before we hear the answer to this question, there would be, it doesn't matter who is at the table, right? What matters is, would this be workable solution or not? And from what we see right now, it will not be a workable solution.
Kira, President Trump yesterday also repeated this proposal for Ukraine to hold an election if it wants a seat at the table. Now, the last election was in 2019, but the process has been on hold because of the war and because of martial law. Is an election something you would support? How is that received within Ukraine?
With all due respect, Ukraine's sovereignty freedom that we are fighting for makes it that neither Russian nor American president can define who is the president in Ukraine, when and how we elect our president. As a member of Ukrainian parliament, I can assure you that President Zelensky is representing us because of Ukrainian constitution. As of right now, we do not see that before the martial law is lifted, we can conduct elections in Ukraine. And for that, we will remain united as one front, working together, opposition, president, coalition, everyone, to win the war and to figure out the best way to move forward. After the war is over, we will, of course, conduct the elections, and all Ukrainian people will support that.
Kira Rudik, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, and glory to Ukraine.
After a 3-week trial, an LA jury needed about 3 hours to find rapper A$AP Rocky not guilty. He was acquitted on 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. The verdict was met with cheers and hugs from his family. A dramatic moment, as you see right there. The rapper, whose real name is Rakeem Mayers, was facing up to 24 years in prison. This all stemmed from a 2021 incident when he was accused of firing a gun at a former friend. During an argument, his defense argued the gun was only a prop that fired blanks. A$AP Rocky is, of course, Rihanna's longtime partner. She was in the room with their 2 sons when that verdict was announced.
Well, there are so many unanswered questions this morning regarding the crash landing of that Delta Airlines flight in Toronto. The investigation to figure out why the plane flipped over during landing and burst into flames on Monday afternoon is in its earliest stages. Now, all 80 people on board survived the crash. 21 people were injured. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk has the latest from Toronto.
This morning, investigators are focusing on these crucial moments when Delta 4819 hit the runway in Toronto, hoping the flight data and cockpit voice recorders may help explain how this crash could have happened. Everything appeared normal during the descent at first. But when the plane hit the runway, the landing gear on the right appeared to blow off, followed by the wing, sending the plane tumbling, according to NBC News aviation analyst John Cox's review of crash footage.
Investigators are going to look very carefully at exactly what caused that wing to separate.
They will also be looking at what role the wind may have played. Weather reports recorded gusts of up to 40 miles an hour with drifting snow.
The conditions were challenging, but nothing more than professional pilots can handle. The airplane's designed for it. The pilots are trained for it.
Remarkably, all 80 people on board survived.
I was upside down. The lady next to me was upside down. We kind of let ourselves go and fell to hit the ceiling, which is surreal feeling.
Most of the injuries were minor, according to paramedics.
Back sprains, head injuries, anxiety, some headaches, nausea and vomiting.
Delta Airlines says 21 passengers were treated in the hospital for injuries and 19 have been released.
Everything, drop it!
Officials applauding the efforts of first responders and flight attendants.
We saw the most important role that they play in action. The crew of Delta Flight 4819 heroically led passengers to safety.
Oh my! It's something passengers like Peter Kukoff noticed too.
Does it seem now impressive when you look back at it that they handled it the way they did?
Absolutely. I feel like everybody handled it pretty well considering we were in a plane crash. The wreckage is still on the runway, and it's going to be there likely for at least another day or so. Investigators want to look at it and analyze it while it's still there. They're also looking at the runway itself. Investigators led by Canada tell us that they've retrieved the ever-important black boxes and they have sent them to a lab for analysis. Savannah.
All right, Stephanie, thank you very much.
The crash in Toronto really appears to be a textbook example of how crews on the plane and on the ground should respond to an aviation emergency. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello takes a closer look at how everyone sprung into action after training for the worst-case scenario.
With the wreckage of that regional jet still resting on a Toronto runway, aviation experts say the fact everyone survived is due in no small part to the flight attendants.
Everything, drop it.
Who remained composed yet in charge, ordering passengers to wait as they ensured it was safe to evacuate, then move.
They announced not to get out of their seats, so people were hanging there for I can't remember how long, but just about a minute, and then they were like, okay, get down.
Veteran flight attendants call it a textbook response.
There were very difficult conditions, directly an inverted plane, where this flight attendant had to find the opening, make that hole, and then shout the commands to get people out safely.
Also textbook, the firefighting response, required to be on scene within 3 minutes. An MIT study shows fatal commercial plane crashes are rare, just 1 in 13.7 million passenger boardings globally.
Release seatbelts! Leave everything!
Like other airlines, Delta flight attendants go through weeks of intense training.
Grab ankles, heads down, stay low!
Recreating the chaos of an emergency.
The FAA requires you to evacuate a plane completely in 90 seconds. You've got to be on your game.
Absolutely, absolutely. The goal is to try to get those customers off the aircraft as quickly as possible, especially in an emergency.
The key is to kick your feet and your arms out and slide down. And let these guys catch you at the bottom.
Commands must be concise and clear.
Leave everything, jumping, slide!
Leaving purses, bags, and backpacks behind. Tom Costello, NBC News.
All right, our thanks for that great demonstration, Tom. Well, this morning, 7 men from Chile are now facing federal charges for their alleged role in orchestrating burglaries at the homes of several professional athletes, including Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. We've been telling you about these break-ins while athletes were on the road for games. Federal prosecutors in Florida say the men are members of a South American theft ring that stole more than $2 million in watches, jewelry, and cash, among other things. Now, if convicted, the 7 men face a maximum of 10 years each in federal prison.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.